Foreman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Week 18, the last week of the regular season. It has flown by, guys. Wow, right? Already the playoffs is around the corner. We got some interesting games to talk about. A little different video here. We'll also have a recap of 2024. If you missed it out on my social medias, I always post it over there. We'll talk some incentive props, some teams that may be resting guys. We'll get all into that shortly here. Happy New Year to everyone, right? Happy New Year. Hopefully you guys had some good holidays with the family. Just another year, another profitable year for the system. We'll be talking about that here shortly in all sports. We got 2 Saturday games again, guys. Love these Saturday games. I don't know about you. More days that there's NFL football, the more happy I am. So we got 2 more games. One's kind of meaningless. The other one we're actually going to talk about, right? We have Ravens versus the Browns. The Ravens are minus 19.5 favorites. I've seen it up on 20 in some books. Right? They got Zappy in there at QB. I don't expect Cleveland to play everyone. Ravens still playing for the division. They're going to be playing everybody. You know, they may, if they're up by 20 in the fourth quarter, expect them to rest guys. That's why you're going to want to stay away from this game from a player prop standpoint. But, if you have the Ravens, to win the game in a teaser market or something, I don't know if you can bet minus 19.5. Like that's kind of crazy. I'll be staying away totally from that game. But we will be talking about the big game on Saturday, the Bengals at the Steelers. Huge game there, right? Lots of things going on there. We'll talk about that shortly. And of course, the big game of the week, maybe the game of the year, on paper at least. So much to play for. Lions versus Vikings, division and NFC number 1 overall seed on the line. Wow. Who had the Vikings playing in this game at the start of the year? Nobody, right? Let's be honest, guys. Lions, sure. Right, I'm sitting on a Lions plus 1,200 or plus 1,400. Can't remember now. Outright Super Bowl winner. Right? I expect the Lions to be here. Vikings, I did not. Right? Maybe sneak into the playoffs type of team, I thought. But definitely not up here. And very surprising. But we'll talk about that game here shortly. No Monday game this week. So we'll just look at those 2 games since we have other stuff to talk about this week. A lot of teams will be resting guys like I mentioned. You can do your homework on that. It's probably pretty self-explanatory too. Some of them you do got to wait till, the day of. Coaches haven't announced everything, so that's going to be very important. And there are also going to be some players that have incentives that we'll talk about here shortly. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. Everything's over there, guys. Become a client today. Receive my personal plays in all sports. Remember, I don't just handicap the NFL. I handicap multiple sports. Currently handicapping PGA, NFL, NHL, and the UFC is back in a couple weeks. Thanks to a handful of clients that jumped on board over the holidays. It was a great holidays for us. Long-term clients, I appreciate you the most, of course. This is what continues for me to put out these videos and continue with the service. Let's do some market notes here. We got UFC back January 11th, to be exact. PGA is back this week. Client card is already out. We're on a 4-0 NHL run to end the year. Nice run there. I'm very low volume in the NHL, 70% on the year in the NHL, but it's only 10 bets, guys. So still, I pick my spots in the NHL. I only bet system plays. I don't flip coins betting the NHL day to day, right? I pick my spots. I look for multiple things. Sign up for the system. You find out what I look for in NHL games. UFC and PGA being off obviously helped that as well, right? I had more time to handicap the NHL. Let's do a recap from NFL Week 17. We already talked about the Christmas Day card, right? Because it was on the Wednesday. It was a 7-0 card for myself and clients. I also hit a Christmas parlay plus 7,500, guys. Right? Smaller unit, of course. But, definitely a big hit there on Christmas Day. And we finished the week profitable, right? You would think that after the 7-0 day, maybe the weekend would be a little tough. Now, I went perfect in every market except the player prop market. Player prop market was tough. We had some bad beats in the player prop market. But, we hit the Lions alternate spread. We hit, for a full unit, we hit teaser market full unit plus 120. Another teaser cashes for us, guys. It's been a great year for the teaser market. We were on the Bengals minus 2.5. We had Bengals Rams money line parlay full unit. We were on the under Miami game due to the weather. Weather wasn't as bad as expected in that game. That's why some of the props got over that I was expecting to affect the QBs more. So yeah, it was a great week for us, and it's been a good, after a slow start, up and down start to start the year. I expected the second half to be very good, and it has, guys. It has in the NFL. 63-39 run to end the season here. Very happy with that. Not my best runs that I've had in the NFL over the years, but very happy with those numbers. Just under 15 units. Remember, smaller unit better, guys. Strict better. 0.5 unit. Best bets are 2 units. 1-0 on best bets in the NFL this year. My bets are limited. 65% teasers on the year plus 120. Very happy about that. Very happy about that. One of my better teaser years. It's not easy to hit 65% of teasers, guys. The reason there is a name for teasers, just able over 100 units the last 3.5 years, guys. In the NFL, best bets long term, all sports 13-4, 77%. Just some UFC highlights this past year. 67% pay-per-view events. Very happy with that. 70% 2-fight parlays. 21-2 pay-per-view run was the best run of the UFC season. That's 91%, guys. The best part, it was average line plus money. Average line plus money. These are not big favorites like some jokers out there. These are average line plus money, guys. 21-2. That was my best run I've ever had in the UFC, especially due to the average line, right? So great season in the UFC. It's always a good year in the UFC, but this is one of my better years, to be honest, guys. PGA, another profitable year in the PGA in both markets. 16 outrights on the year. We didn't get that huge outright like we did 2 years ago. Our biggest was still a big outright, let's be honest, plus 4,500 on Steven Yeager. Smallest outright, I think, in the last 4 years. However, we hit multiple outrights. We had a couple bigger ones, plus 2,200, a couple in the 20s. And yeah, so 2 years ago, it was a crazy year, right? Harmon plus 11,000. We had Grillo plus 8,000. Yeah, so PGA has been very good for us. Props have been good as well. Just under 100 units longer term in the prop market for us. Highlighted by the matchup market this year, 69-70% in the matchups. Don't bet matchups every tournament, but we do pick our spots. Those are the 3 that were highlighted this year. NHL also profitable as well, like I talked about at top of this card. Let's get into some more football, guys. Power rankings, we're staying away. It's the same as last week, so we're not going to talk about that. We do have Ravens coming in close to get back into that top 5 due to back-to-back big performances over the Texans and Steelers. Let's talk about some teams resting players, guys. And be careful when betting this week. Very difficult. This is the week that you have to do a lot of research and read a lot of news. Wait as well on some games. Currently, I only have a few player props out for clients. I have no bets out as of yet. Got to wait until, the day of for this type of betting. Unless some player props come out early, some don't on some books. So I'm attacking when they come out as soon as possible. Always reviewing the lines with all my screens around me. So Eagles. We know they're resting Barkley. I'm very disappointed that they're resting Barkley. Come on, guys. This doesn't happen often, right? 1984 Dickerson? He's only 102. I think if he plays full game, he guarantees breaks it. The 102 mark, right? I get the one aspect. Yeah, he could get hurt. But you're playing an old team, too. It's just perfect. It's perfect. Now, apparently the coach asked him. Barkley said he doesn't care. Then he slept on it. He says, it'd be nice. And then the coach came back and said, no, you're not playing. So I get from the coach's standpoint, if they play Barkley, he gets hurt. He could get fired over that decision. I get that. I wouldn't say people would be upset at him, let's be honest. Why did you play him? This game mean nothing. We're already locked in the 2 seed, et cetera, et cetera. But when you have a record like this that just doesn't come around often, let's be honest. I don't see Barkley getting to this again or a shot to get to this again next year. I don't see it happening. So it's kind of frustrating. So they'll be resting other guys. Hurts, of course, and some other guys. So kind of stay away from that game. Chiefs also resting guys. Wentz is going to be starting. A bunch of other guys will be sitting as well. Bills, right? They'll be resting guys. They're locked in the 2 seed. We may see Allen for a little bit. I'm hearing again. This is a game you want to wait till that day, the Sunday. I don't really know as of right now, but it makes sense for them to rest guys, right? But I'm hearing that they may throw some starters. I was saying with Houston, they're locked in that 4 seed, but they're playing like shit. That's a game I expect the coach to get their starters in at least for a half. Get your guys going. You've been playing terribly, right? Get some confidence into that team. So I expect the Texans to probably play their guys the longest. Right? And then there's teams that are just out of the playoffs. You don't know. They're going to start their guys. But are they going to give a shot to other guys later in the game? So it's a difficult week, guys. Like, I'm not going to be betting many spreads this week. I'll have a money line parlay, teaser, player props. I'll have a spread or two as well. But it's going to be in meaningful games and not games that mean nothing. Because you don't really know what they're going to do from my experience in the last game of the regular season. One other team to mention that I almost forgot, Rams. Rams will be resting guys as well. They're locked in the 2 seed. We already know Jimmy G is starting at QB. Seattle apparently playing their guys. Mike McDonald came out already and said it. There's some incentives for Geno Smith. So, Seattle would be a good, market play this week, in my opinion. Player incentives. Let's talk about a few of them. I'm not going to go over any defensive ones, but here's some key notable offensive ones. Derrick Henry needs 1 TD for $500,000. You know what you're doing anytime touchdown there, guys. Mike Evans is a big one. Needs 5 catches and 85 yards for $3 million. Wow. So, yeah, they're going to get him the ball there. Geno Smith needs 183 yards for $2 million bonus. Should get there. Right, unless they decide to bench him. I don't know if they will or not, but he threw for 365 last time versus the Rams, and that was their starters. He also gets, if they win this game, he gets another $2 million, and then if he gets a completion percentage around 69%, he gets a total of $6 million, guys. Wow. Wow. But is Seattle, let's say Seattle doesn't want to bring this guy back next year, which they might not. Are they going to allow him to get all these incentives? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle that there. Dobbins needs 58 yards to hit 900, which will give him 150 bonus. That's interesting there, right? Chargers need to win that game. That's a good look for you guys to bet the over there. Line hasn't come out on that yet, so that's interesting. Sutton needs 82 yards for a $500,000 bonus. Right? No Chiefs starters. Could be a look there. Kyle Murray needs 50-plus rush yards plus 1 rushing TD. $7,500,000 bonus. Wow. Wow. So there's some notable ones, guys. Some defensive ones. There's a bunch out there as well, but not going to get into that because you're not going to really bet player props on those. Let's get right into it after we hear from my friend Kristen.
For you sports bettors out there, let's be honest, you probably need a little bit of help beating those books. System Capping is a proven long-term winner against the sports betting market in multiple sports. He's built a worldwide clientele due to his high winning percentage over the years. Be sure to click the link on the bio down here to check out his profile, and you can also find out his resume, client comments, podcasts, and subscription opportunities. I'm going to be following him along too, so let's win some money together this season.
Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it, guys. Like I always say, shop around. Shop around, have multiple sportsbooks. I was doing player prop incentives this week already, and some books have them, some don't already, right? So have multiple books. Get on top of that number you like first. Get the best line out there. I can't stress that enough, guys. Hopefully you've been listening to me. I stress this every podcast, pretty much. Speaking about the podcast, if you're listening on Apple, you're listening on Spotify, please rate and review, guys. It helps me out a ton. If you're on YouTube, please like the video. Let's get into it. Bengals minus 1.5. There are some twos out there. At Steelers, total 48. What a game we have here on Saturday, right? Strange they didn't put the Ravens game at the same time. Very confusing here. NFL kind of fucked up here, right? So the Steelers, when they realized that the Ravens won the division, how are they going to come out? How is that going to affect them? They really don't have anything much to play for now. I'm going to kind of take that statement back, because if they win this game, they don't have to go to Baltimore. They go to Houston. So I think they're playing to win this game, obviously, and you don't want to limping into the season. What, they would lose 4 in a row now? 5 in a row? Going if they ended up losing this game. But Bengals technically are playing for more, because like I mentioned, Baltimore's winning against Cleveland guaranteed. I never been more sure. I never say guaranteed. You know that, guys. You know I never say guaranteed, because there's some losers out there that say locks. There's never a lock, right? You'll see some guys out there, I got a lock of the year. No, you guys are fake handicappers, right? There's nothing lock or guarantee. I have never been more closer to say that the Ravens are guaranteed to beat the Browns, right? That's one of my probably guarantee plays that I never say, because there's never a guarantee. But in this type of situation, the Ravens are winning this game. So, is that going to kind of, how are the Steelers going to react after they just realize, they're not winning the division again? Bengals need to win and get help as well, right, to get into the wild card. And they've been playing playoff games for the past 4 weeks now, guys, right? They need Miami to lose and Denver to lose, which is possible. However, KC is resting, guys. Miami at Jets looks like they're going 1-2-3 Cancun, right? So I don't know if the Bengals, obviously they're still playing to win, and they don't know what happened between Miami and Denver, because those games are on Sunday. So Bengals playing for more, in my opinion, here. And they've just been playing playoff scenario football as of late, and the Steelers just have been playing some bad football, right? Burrow MVP season, that offense is top 5 in the NFL, top 3 you can argue too. When you got 2 number 1 wide receivers, and Higgins and Chase, it's just a dangerous duel. Now, Chase Brown is injured. I think he's going to play. He might not. Check for that. I think it's a bit of a downgrade. I'm leaning the Bengals in this game here, guys, but if Chase Brown doesn't go, it's a little bit of a downgrade in my opinion. Very dual threat out of the backfield. They have a backup, Herbert. Don't think he's as good as a threat from the backfield, catching balls, etc. He does bail out Burrow at times when his wide receivers are covered. So it's a bit of a downgrade. I think he's going to go. I see prop numbers out there. I think it was just a sprained ankle, so I believe he goes. But it is a little bit of a concern, I would say, here for the Bengals. A concern is this Steelers defense, guys. It's been bad, right? They let 38 up against Joe Burrow just about a month ago, right? They've been struggling the past 3 games when they step up in competition. Right, when they played The Ravens, the Eagles, all allow a lot of points in those games. Now closer to towards the bottom of allowing points. Great defense to start the year, and then it kind of fall apart here. You see a lot of interviews with them saying they don't know really what's going on, and they know who the problem is, but they're not calling out names, and everyone needs to do their job. There's some issues there on defense for the Steelers right now. Right, some injuries too. I know Porter was out for a bit. He's banged up. So that's interesting to watch. And the offense is never really that great, let's be honest. Now, yes, they can score on this Bengals defense. This Bengals defense is terrible as well, right? That's why I'm having a little difficulty to back the Bengals here as a client play. If it is going to be a smaller unit, I'm leaning the Bengals here, but it's Steelers at home. Need to get a win here. You don't want to be limping into the playoffs here. Tomlin, they've beat Bengals already this year. Showed they can score on the defense. So from a side standpoint, I'll probably be staying away. But I think this game should get over this total. I'm surprised it's about this low. Both defenses have been terrible. Steelers as of late. Bengals all year. We know Burrow's going to be able to put up points. He did 38. And, the only reason Bengals lost that game was 3 turnovers. Are we going to see 3 turnovers again here? Right? Probably not. So, first game, guys, 44-38. And we're getting total 48. Something's a little... Is it too good to be true? It could be, right? Sometimes when we see these lines at 48, a little too good to be true. So, that's interesting here. So leaning Bengals probably won't make my client card. The over could. The over 48 may make my client. That's probably my favorite bet here in this game. Vikings at Lions. Lions -3. Total 56. Wow. Very difficult for me to bet this 56. Would I be surprised if it gets over? No. Right? Game of the year on paper. Highest total of the year possibly. I think there maybe have been another. I know there's a 54.5 not too long ago. This could be the highest. Interesting, right, when you have a good Vikings defense. But we already saw this game get over when they played, right? 31-29. Last time these two teams played in Minnesota. Right, Lions squeaked that out and won that game. That was a more healthy Lions team, let's be honest, right? This defense is banged up, guys. This defense is not looking great. Even though they did help with 2 interceptions last week against San Fran. But San Fran was moving the ball up and down before that. Right, obviously Montgomery being out does hurt them. However, if you want to get someone hurt, it's probably at that position. You have Gibbs, and Gibbs is just getting more work, and that's not a bad thing, guys. Right? It's not a bad thing. You like Montgomery at the goal line. You like him at, to pick up, 10-yard rushes. It is a loss, don't get me wrong, but it's not a bad thing to have Gibbs in there more. So guys are stepping up too. Williams making some big catches, big plays, really taking a step forward this year. St. Brown's being St. Brown. Laporte is getting more involved. Just one of the best offenses in the NFL, guys. That's why, again, we're seeing this high total. We know what Minnesota's doing. Who had Minnesota at this? At 14-2 playing this type of big game, guys. Wow. Hats off to Sam Darnold. What a year. How are you going to not bring this guy back next year, even with JJ behind him? 4th in passing yards in the NFL, 4,153, guys. 35 TDs, 5th. Seems to take a bit of a leadership role as well, really connecting with his wide receivers. Just a very well-balanced team. Defense playing well, very well-coached team. Expect this game to be high-scoring, sure. Can I bet over the 56? Me, personally, I can't. I wouldn't call you, I believe it probably does. I'm going to lean it's going over, but I just can't bet this number over. Expect this game to be close, right? 3, 7-point style game here. Staying away for clients, you guys know, I stress it every podcast. I don't bet against Minnesota. If you do, they're just going to continue. Imagine if you were like trying to bet against Minnesota throughout the year, you would be, if you're thinking, oh, this is the game they're going to lose. This is the game. Because, a lot of people thought their record was, this is the worst 12-2 team, and now they're 14-2. So if you were just fading them due to you thinking that, you're in big trouble, right? So I stayed away. I've been staying away from Minnesota. I haven't lost any money on Minnesota this year. So, yeah, I'm staying away from this game. I'll be looking at possibly some player props in this game. The Addison, Jefferson, Hawkinson's over, right? You can pass on this Lions team as they showed, as San Fran showed last week, right? So there's going to be some looks for me there in the prop market when they come out. Probably stay away from Gibbs in this one, at least rushing. Vikings are second against the rush in the NFL, so I'll probably be staying away from there. Maybe some catches out of the backfield. Gibbs could be more involved there. So that is something to look at. Gibbs should get in the end zone. Let's be honest here, guys. No Montgomery, right? So he's the goal line back, and he's able to catch out of the backfield and run to the end zone for 20 yards as well. Can't wait for that game, guys. Very excited for that one. It's a Sunday nighter, Sunday night game. Teaser market, let's quickly talk about it. What a year it's been in the teaser market, like I already talked about top of the video here. Let's get my two favorite for you this week. And it's going to be the Bucks -6.5 and Falcons -1. Remember, 7-point teasers plus 120. I do 3 for clients. I give you my two favorites. Make sure both these teams are on your teasers this week, guys. Bucks need to win the game playing for the division over the Saints, right? They should win by double digits that game. They're 13.5 favorites. They should win by 10 plus in that game. Probably cover that 13.5, to be honest. Falcons playing guys. I'm not hearing about any resting over there. Obviously, they want to get Penix Jr. another game under his belt, so he's going to be playing. And it's against a poor Carolina defense. So Falcons win that game at home. 8's kind of high. I don't know if I can get to that. Carolina should be playing guys as well. But I do believe Falcons win the game at home. Underdogs. We split last week. I haven't been liking much in the underdog market the past few weeks here. But let's take a look this week. Even though I mentioned already I'm leaning Bengals in that game. Steelers plus money at home, always a look. Always a look there. Texans on the road, I do believe they're going to be starting, guys. You got to do more research on that game when it's closer to game time. But if you can give me Texans plus 105 on the road against Tennessee in a game that they need to, I'm not saying they need to win it, but they do need to win it to get some confidence going into the playoffs. So I expect them to start their guys for at least a half, maybe all the game. I don't know. You're going to have to look, guys. Look into that game a little more. But, yeah, getting them at plus money, you don't want to be limping into the playoffs, guys. It's the last thing you want to do, right? And losing to Tennessee before the playoffs? Come on. Raiders can spoil the Chargers' plans to go to Houston. That's interesting there. And then Jets, of course, and of course the Vikings, right? So Vikings at plus 130, very tempting there. Look that way. And then the Texans as well, right? Do they want to go into the playoffs limping in, losing to the Tennessee Titans? Play your guys. It's going to be interesting what they do there. I'll be following the news there before I pull the trigger. That will do it, guys. That will do it. 2025 is here. I expect another big year in all sports. 2024 was great. We had some podcast upgrades. We have a new studio office here. We continue to get better. I'm working with a new sports betting company. They have an app. I'll be discussing that more when it launches. So looking forward to that. Big things coming for the system and myself and clients this year. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy the last week of the regular season.